Hi, my name is Pourya Aliasghari. I am a member of Social and Intelligent Robotics Research Lab in the University of Waterloo. Now we will be taking a look at our paper called Simulations on Herding a Flock of Birds Away from an Aircraft Using a UAV. Now let's start with mentioning some points about bird strikes in general. This term refers to any contact between an aircraft and avian creatures, and this is a growing problem because the population of some large flocking species, such as Canada geese, is increasing. Several methods have been employed in the airports to control the birds and reduce the risk of these accidents. Here in this work, we describe and test a simple algorithm for enabling a single drone to herd a flock of birds away from a dangerous area in which birds may collide with an airplane. Here is the scenario in details. The flock is assumed to fly perpendicular to the runway at a fixed altitude, and it has been detected by the radar that if the flock remains on its path, a collision will happen at a specific area over the runway with a landing airplane. So at the proper moment, a UAV starts to gain elevation and approaches the flock from the bottom at the edge of the runway to push them to a higher and safe altitude before any accident. I should note that the drone is relatively small in this picture and it may be not visible. We use VBot's 2019 simulation environment for testing the herding scenario, and we also implemented the concept of voids, originally introduced by Reynolds, and added goal-oriented flight and obstacle avoidance behavior, as well as random noises to it. Before we continue, I should mention some defined metrics. First, we have dispersal, D of t. This means how scattered the birds are. D of t is larger when birds are more distant from the center of the flock. And we have also success rate, S of t, which measures success of the UAV in preventing a potential accident. If all the birds are outside the collision box, we have S of t equal to 1, and this would be 0 if in the worst case all of them are at its center. If you look at this figure, when the flock enters the collision box, the success rate drops. But if we use the UAV and prevent the accident, we have almost all the time 100% success rate. And here is a video of the scenario. You saw the drone push the flock up and prevented the accident. Using the described simulation platform, we manipulated some variables and performed some tests to answer two research questions. As we can see in this table, different species contribute differently in the reported bird strikes. And as they have different flying speeds, we are interested in seeing how do changes in the species of the birds, which results in different flock speeds, impact the success of the UAV. Also, we want to know how does the initial dispersals affect this. Now let's move on to the summary of the results. You can refer to the original paper for more details. First, we did a total of 60 simulations with different combinations of birds flying speed versus UAV ascent rate, and we detected when both the birds and the UAV move very fast, the time they meet each other is not enough for all the birds be aware of the obstacle and show a suitable reaction to it. This means the speed is an important factor and should be considered. And these are the results about the effect of dispersal. We did the same amount of experiments using different initial dispersal values. We detected when the flock is more scattered, it is more difficult to herd. As you can see in this figure, all the cases below a certain threshold had almost 100% success rate. We also manipulated two other parameters of the model. We detected when the birds sense the drone and act to avoid it from a farther distance and successfully herd flocks with larger initial dispersals. As you can compare these two figures, the threshold is moved to the right a bit. We did see same effect when the birds had a greater potential field away from the obstacle. In a nutshell, here we took advantage of an artificial life concept to provide a framework to test and simulate a solution for a real-life problem. We mentioned that there are various coefficients governing this emergent behavior. So there are lots of parameters that should be adjusted for specific types of birds. And we suggest most of the attention directed to Canada geese, which are the most harmful species for aircraft. Thanks for your attention. Please feel free to email me in case you have any question.